Hi everyone, my name is Kristen Deuter and thank you for inviting me to this research and symposium. My research was about boomtowns and how the oil and gas industry is changing the culture and land of New Martinsville, West Virginia. A little bit about me. I'm a soon-to-be graduate of the Cultural Anthropology undergrad degree program. I'm a future Human Resources Management graduate, and I'm a mother of 3 and aspiring future culture resources manager. I currently work as a direct care worker caring for the elderly and disabled in their homes. My research seeks to understand and convey the effect big industry has in small towns and the subcultures that lie within them by exploring boom growth that contributes to social isolation in small communities, and how groundwater contamination occurs directly from the presence of oil and gas companies that potentially permanently changes small rural communities and the subcultures that live there. I will apply schema theory to the grander scheme of things in this whole presentation to show exactly how the changes of the culture are actually affected beyond the presence of oil and gas because of the beginning presence of oil and gas. So the boomtown effect is basically what I've called it. Boomtowns have been around for a very long time. However, they've evolved over time. It used to be the time of the gold rush, and that's when boomtowns happened and rapid expansion happened, and then they were left with a ghost town. This still happens. Modern life, has now incorporated boomtowns into daily life because daily life is a lot faster paced now than it used to be. So, boomtowns can be very, positive. They can have positive effects such as sustainable community effects and economical outputs with proper pre-planning. However, that pre-planning does not occur all the time, and when that pre-planning does not occur, it leaves the community unstable after oil and gas actually leaves the area. There's a lot of misconceptions about the impacts of oil and gas. A misconception in Martinsville, West Virginia is, oh, there are a lot more jobs, a lot better paying jobs here in this town of New Martinsville. However, that facade of more jobs, more money has overcome the reality of the short-term time frame that this will actually be here for families. So a rapid influx of oil and gas workers actually strains the community and educational system. It degrades the teacher to student ratio because it actually has been increased now with more families moving into town. Mortgage rates and the prices of homes have increased and skyrocketed beyond what the native community members can actually afford. Trauma from disasters, victimization, economic crises, and other circumstances can impede developmental processes or have other long-term effects on children, especially those directly affected by rapid expansion. So the rapid expansion not only is affecting children moving here, but the children living here. So you have a higher teacher-to-student ratio. That means they're getting less teacher time and less individualized structure. So it's been argued that internalized cognitive schemas influence our memories of the past, interpretations of the present, and expectations about future situations. So with this presence here, that has not been something that the Native people are accustomed to, this presence is shaping how they see how oil and gas is actually helping the community, and it'll make them more prone to be receptive to something that happens like this in the future. However, whenever oil and gas leaves, it's going to be very detrimental to the structure of the economy here and to the children that are growing up that are supposed to be learning through all of this. So a few of the research questions I had are posed here. Was the present community response to the employment opportunities? How has daily life changed? And schema theory applied to changing mental environment of all the residents of all ages and how those changing mentalities affect decisions made to increase community growth. I had several different methodologies for my research, and I chose different approaches to different people because I felt that it would be more conducive to the research to tailor it to each person and their personalities. I mean, we have different, it's just a melting pot in New Martinsville, West Virginia now, because you have people from different states coming because of the oil and gas jobs, and then you have the local people here who are actually changing because of culture contact with other people from other different types of cultures. And it's an extremely diverse group of people now. So I chose different methods in gathering data and interviews. My personal communication interview was first with a teacher. Her name is Mrs. Heinerman. She said, "We have a serious overpopulation problem here in town. It seems like every year I gain 3 to 5 new students." So her personal experience with this is the influx of new students. She said their educational performance is declining, and then they have to backtrack their lesson plans to help them keep up in school and try to serve as a stable emotional support system because their families are moving around so much that they actually don't feel that stability. My second communication interview was with Mr. Wiley. He was a 67-year-old Air Force veteran. His complaints were the road degradation, skyrocketing rent prices, and the increase in drug activity. He's lived here most of his life with his wife. He said it used to be that if you heard an ambulance and fire truck rushing around town, something really bad happened. Now it's commonplace. We hear it every day, several times a day, different hours of the night. The increase of people makes the increase of crime happen, and then the increase of drug activity, and it's actually becoming less safe feeling and more of a volatile environment to be in. Mr. Ronson, the 48-year-old mechanic I spoke with, he spoke of social dissolution and alienation, unsafe neighborhoods as a result of increased population and drug activity. He said, "I'm a mechanic, so people in this town always need me, but that's the only time they ever call me anymore. When they need me to fix something, nobody ever asks how anyone is doing anymore." So the interpretation of my entire research project, there's absolutely a distinct social dissolution. People just do not communicate the way they used to, so there's a lot of estrangement and broken social ties, broken families. It's kind of devastating. The educational system is flooded, and there is cultural damage. And that's not to say that the culture contact has actually damaged what was here before oil and gas came. It's just that the evolution of the culture before molding into what it is now has damaged a little bit of the value system that they used to have when, they felt like interacting with one another. Now they're a lot more nervous about interacting with one another, nervous about going out of their homes. So this rapid expansion really has damaged the community here. Rapid expansion and change are disallowing schemas, and at the pace at which they are formed, to form on solid ground, so that change can be accepted and people can adapt to the new environment around them. Instead, residents are struggling to adjust to the new social structures. I don't have enough time with this presentation to really share all of the interesting things that I have learned while doing my capstone research. And I was very surprised to find all of the things I found about a town that I live so close to. But I do feel like this research really could be furthered in the future, and I feel like it'd be very beneficial to understanding climate change and how it affects even the smallest towns and all of the people that live within it. Thank you for this opportunity to allow me to discuss my topic and my research and my proposed research, and I have my contact info right here. I would love to talk with anyone and everyone about everything I've learned because I feel very passionately about climate change, and I love doing this research project. So thank you everyone for this opportunity, and if you would like to reach out to me, my contact info is at the bottom.